All right. It's been, gosh, like 12 days since I've recorded. And it's because I remember the last recording I did was actually my birthday. And that was what, 12 days ago? I'm closing my door because I'm gonna get right into it. So it's like 5:04 a.m. right now. Um, I was up since 3 a.m. with my oldest, who woke up saying she had a headache and a fever, and I took her temperature and she had a fever. And then I rubbed her head to kind of go back to bed. And of course, I was dumb enough to go back to my bed and decide to open up my phone. And wow, my brain was doing some wild things at 3:15 in the morning. And was just I was on one, from stuff about teaching to stuff about one of our small businesses to the other small business. I've also realized I'm separating these experiences, these small businesses. They're not both small businesses. One is a passion project. That is the newest one, and that is what I've had this huge epiphany on. And two, the other one is a legit small business, and we're going to be doing some like incredible, hopefully really big numbers this year, big for us, with one of our biggest clients. So I'm stoked. Very, very excited, for that. The other thing is me trying to figure out my teaching schedule, because I'm like, it's a juggle, man, trying to get into trying to get into like wanting to be there when I don't have like the energy that I used to. That being said, I'm not old. I just need to like realign like where I put my energy. Like I think that's part of it, is that like I'm, as a teacher and as a former coach, like I'm like the hype girl. Like I am, if I'm not hyping everybody up and getting everybody fired up about it, then it's like they're not excited about it. And I think that's really like the hardest thing to do as a teacher, is that you like, if you weren't excited about it, then your students aren't going to be excited about it. And I felt that when it came to lacrosse as well. It's like, if they don't see you like leading by example, then it just didn't like connect as well. And so these past 12, 13, no, more than that, it's February 10th today, January 28th, 29, 30, 30. It's been 2 weeks. It's been 14 days since I recorded. And because I felt so crappy. I have not been myself. I have not been on my A game. And yeah, that's kind of like why I'm like, this is the best I felt. And I've been awake since 3. I'm gonna jump right into it. So that being said, uh, I I haven't even been prepping. I haven't been doing any of this, but I know this about myself. It's consistency. Everybody has great ideas, but being consistent is the hardest thing. And that's the hardest thing for me. And I genuinely feel like I wasn't feeling good. So I lost my motivation. And when you lose motivation, you lose your intrinsic motivation. And it was just like, I was just not good, not good, not good. And I'm laughing because my last video was like, aliens are taking over, right? And every day I have all of these thoughts. Like before bed, I have all of these thoughts pour out. When I wake up, I get all of these thoughts, but I, I've still been like absorbing as much as I possibly can. I was listening to this neuroscientist talk about like, AI is kind of blowing up my brain right now. Um, but yeah, like, I feel like I've accomplished still quite a bit in the last 2 weeks. It just wasn't, you know, all the things on the podcast world. I haven't been recording my shorts like I've used to. just because I haven't been in that headspace. My mornings have just looked different. My days have just looked different. So, that being said, I wanted to like kind of flush out this whole concept that I have like in my brain about why I've been stuck like with the marketing on this passion project. So like my passion project, they're these bracelets. It's called the hug button. They are little bracelets, very simple, that like, you know, there's these right here, that like you give to your kid and yourself if you like have a hard drop off. Like it's to remind your kid that like they are okay and they will be um okay and they are loved, they are cared for. And it's something that I'm like super, super passionate about. And so it worked for our family years ago when we like started doing it. And if you know me, I am someone who really wants to make an impact on the world. And I always want to I always think of other people and how I can make the world a better place. And so that being said, decided to like start a business from it, right? Like I was like, oh, if it helps my family, then it should be able to help other people's families. So it took like 2 years to actually like launch it because I was so in my head about it from the idea back all the way through, like, because I was struggling with like, how can I market something that's like a story? It's not even like a product, it's a story. And how do I show that like I want to sell a tool, not a bracelet? And I think I got like super the word like I don't know if it's imposter syndrome or what, but I got super in my head about what I was actually selling and what I was actually doing. And I got like the ick, like I got like the marketing ick. And, we launched and it was great because we were just like getting the concept out there. But then it was like continuing to keep it going. I struggled with like what to post. I still am. I don't post on TikTok or Instagram. And we had like a viral video happen when I launched, when I was putting more effort into it over summer. And I like didn't capitalize on it as much as I probably should have. That being said, I feel like I am someone who needs to have meaning, like over money. I need to have everything have meaning and make sense. And so for me, it wasn't clicking when it came to social media. Like I felt like social media felt icky because it was like everyone's selling something. Everybody's like, trying to be on there for money or for clout or for, I don't know, like just selfish reasons, like becoming an influencer, becoming like launching a business. Like I didn't want people to like look at me like I was doing that. And so I got in my head, and I'm still in my head about like all of that. So flash forward to now this morning that I'm like having this realization like, oh, that's why like it hasn't been comfortable to market because it's like I'm not staying genuine to the story and like who I am and like why it started. So like I'm going to go back to basics and I'm just going to like be authentic. And I think that will help people kind of understand why the business was started, why this passion project exists, and like just go from there. Um, I think I was overthinking it and being like, oh, it has to be like perfect. Like, I have no marketing degree. I have no even business degree. I'm someone who has started a business from a concept, an idea, because it worked. Like, I had proven track record from our experience. So now I was like, well, why couldn't it work? Right. I have like the neuroscience and psychology, like backing it, like behind it, but I'm not qualified to speak on either of those. Same thing when it came to parenting. I'm like, I've only been a parent for 6.5 years. I'm not qualified to. start telling people how to parent. And so I struggled with like, also like product. I've never made a bracelet company before. So like me claiming like I know everything about the product and bracelets didn't feel right, didn't sit right. And then same thing when it came to like a parenting community. I was like, well, really, I don't really feel like I have a leg to stand on as the parenting community either. And then the third piece is just like the neuroscience background. I don't have a leg to stand on there either. So like all of those things combined, I was struggling with like with doing anything. And I mean, we were still using it. I'm still talking about it with you, still like use it all the time at our house, but I was struggling with like, okay, let me record a video and let me put this perfect caption and let me do this. Like instead of now, my epiphany this morning is like, just tell the story. Just be genuine. Just speak from the heart and say all of those things. Say you have no business in this business. You know what I mean? Like say you're underqualified. Say that this business was formed based on like following your heart and feeling it like emotionally. You know, when like you're just called to do something and you don't really know why you're doing it, like that is what that business is. That's it. Like, it's just something I felt deep in my bones enough to like get the domain, enough to want to make this happen and invest a little bit of money to building a website and creating the branding package. And it's like, we've got all that now. Now it's just a matter of like keeping it going. And it's again, it's not about the money, it's about creating meaning. And I think if for every small business owner, you don't really start because you think you're going to become a millionaire or billionaire. But I think like if you do it right and you do it like organically and authentically, I do think that there's a way to do it. And another thing that like sparked my thought on this, like this new marketing campaign is the fact that people want real. People don't want to be sold to. People don't want to feel like marketed to. I think that's what it is. And I saw an Instagram of this guy who I don't know how much money they spent, but they're like a new, I don't know, maybe like a financial consulting firm in a, a new city, maybe Missouri or something. And the billboard is like a handwritten note, and it's like, "Hey, anyone wanna go fishing? New to Missoula." It's like a selfie of this, like, dude holding a fish, and I guess there were, like, a couple of those in the city, and it crushed, like, and it was just like, "Hey, looking to make new friends," and it was like it just had, like, the website, like, no fancy, like, QR code, just, like, the website, and it intrigued people. It was, like, really cool, and this dude is, like, a normal dude, and people are like, "We wanna hang out with Ryan," but, like, it led people to their website. I think they did something like 20,000,000 in their first year there because of that, or maybe first month. I don't even know. It was, like, crazy numbers simply because they were they, like, tapped into, like, the humanistic, side of, like, the marketing, which is, like, not feeling marketed to. Does that make sense? Like, nobody wants to feel like they're being sold or marketed to. People want to feel like to be like people want to feel connected. And I think that's what it is. Like I need to share my story, not to sell, but to connect. And I think that's what we need to get back to with social media because I've been super off of it. And like, I don't know. Everybody's like has the weird feeling about social media. So I think I'm going to attempt this marketing campaign about speaking from the heart, being genuine, and telling our story and like how this came about and see how that helps make me feel. I think it already makes me feel better just thinking about it and being like, oh, that's way less stressful. That's way less aggressive, you know?
So yeah, so I think that that's like the perfect, um, I don't know, perfect
Segue.